So you've created your first NFTs in the Wax blockchain, and you see people doing these drops of NFTs, and you want to know, how can I do one of those, Stash? Well, today I'm going to show you how to do NFT drops on the Wax blockchain using a couple of different tools in this step-by-step tutorial. Are you ready? So friends, thanks again for joining me. So today we're talking all about NFT drops on the Wax blockchain. This is something that you may have seen happen if you're getting involved in creating NFTs on Wax, or maybe you've gotten in on one of my drops that I have done here over the last few months, and you want to understand, well, what do I need to do? How can I do this? Is there a tool? Is it something I can do? Well, the unfortunate thing is there's no really good, straightforward tool that allows you to do drops like this that is for free. But I'm going to show you a step-by-step tutorial today on exactly how to get it done. But before we get started, if you're not already part of my community of stashers, you don't need a mustache to join, but you do need to love learning about NFTs and crypto with the community, and you can sign up in my Telegram link below. All right, let's go jump right into this because I want to show you guys how to do this, and there are quite a few steps, and if you get any of them wrong, it could definitely be something that you can't really undo, right? So this is on the blockchain, and you can't undo those things. So let's go to step number one. The first thing is we're going to assume that you already have your collection set up, right? You've maybe watched my previous tutorial video. I'll make sure to link it there above so you can check that out on how to create NFTs if you're brand new. This is not a brand new video. This is if you've already set up your collection, you've already created some NFTs, and you want to do a drop now with those NFTs. So in your collection, you have to come over to the NFT Creator tab, go to your collection, and go to Edit Collection. Then you'll be able to hit the button here that says, and I'll show you real quick, so Edit Collection and the Advanced Details. If you don't see these details here, you may have to hit Show Advanced. So the first thing you want to do to make this work, and this is the first step, is to add Atomic Drops X to your authorized accounts. This is the smart contract that you'll be interacting with to be able to do these drops. It's not an individual. It's a smart contract that you have to interact with. So you have to add them as an authorized account. So all you do is just click the plus and drop them in right here, just like I already have. So that's step one, right? So we got to get that done. The next thing we need to do is we need to send this contract a little bit of wax so we can cover the amount of RAM that it takes to be able to mint the assets and sell them. So the larger of a collection of drop you're doing, the more that you need to send for the RAM, right? For a basic drop, maybe you're doing, I don't know, 100, 200, 300, something like that. Maybe 5 wax is definitely going to cover that. If you're doing something more in the thousands, you may want to look at maybe doing about 10 wax or something. It doesn't have to be a lot, and this is something you can actually monitor too, because people will start getting notifications like, hey, this contract's out of RAM during the middle of your drop, and you can check on things like that if you're kind of unsure about exactly how much to send. Send a little bit, and if you need to, you can add a little bit more to the contract later, and then the drop will continue. So the first thing, like I said, we need to do is we need to go add that to that contract. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to come over to my Wax Cloud wallet. You can see I'm already logged in here. I'm going to go to Send, choose Wax P as the token. I'm going to send just 3 wax. I have a really small drop. It's only about 140 that we're going to be doing. Go to Next, and then here is what we got to do. We got to put Atomic Drops X, right? Atomic Drops X in the account. Now, in the memo, this is the most important step right here. In the memo, you have to put this phrase in: deposit _ collection _ RAM, colon, and then your collection name. You can see my collection name is Crypto Stash, right? But you need to put your collection name in there. So it's very important that this is entered into the account correctly. And I'll make sure that these important texts like this are in the description below, so you can just easily copy and paste them, right? So this is the first thing you need to do, and make sure you get that deposit and collection name right. We're going to go ahead and press Next and confirm the transaction in your wallet, and you'll see transaction success. Now we know we can move on to the next step. And the next step here is to decide, okay, well, what are we going to be dropping, right? What are we going to do? So the next thing you got to do is like, okay, well, what NFT are we going to do, and what does that really actually mean? So what that means is you want to have had to create a new template, right? Or a template that you have not minted any of the assets for. In particular, that does tend to cause a few problems, and I'll explain here in a second. But for this, demonstration, we're going to be dropping or doing a drop for the instructor stash sticker that I created for a special instruction demo that I did the other day with the University Northern the Northern South Dakota University, or North Dakota University is what I did this for. So this is a special one I did. So but particularly what you're going to need here is the template ID. So you can see 78941 is the template ID. And so you want to have created the template, and ideally you don't mint any of the assets, right? So this is something where a lot of people can get confused. The contract is going to mint the assets on demand as people buy them or get them for free. Now in this case, you can see it already says 10 assets minted. I did mint the first 10 of these, but I'll just make sure that I will subtract that from the total that I let the contract send out. So instead of there being 150 total, I'll be putting in 140, right? So that's something you have to keep in consideration. So now we know our template ID is 78941. Now we need to navigate to the Block Explorer website called blocks.io. Now blocks.io is a place where we're going to interact with smart contracts and be able to put in this information that we need for the drop. You do need to log into the website here. You can see I'm already logged into my account. And then we're going to go to the Atomic Drops contract, right? And as soon as you start typing in, you'll see it auto loads. It's the Atomic Drops X contract. And this is where we have to go to be able to initiate doing our drop. So you're going to navigate over to the contract portion, not account, but contract. And then we're going to navigate down here to the actions tab, right? So it's not tables or ABI, but actions. And you can see there's a bunch of actions here. We're going to be picking create drop, because that's what we're doing today. We're creating a brand new drop using this smart contract. So create drop is going to get us to where we need to be, where all the data we need to put in. There's quite a bit of data here, and we're going to go over each step one by one and explain exactly what needs to be in these boxes. So the very first box needs to be your account name. This should be your .wham or your custom address on Wax or whatever it may be, not your private key or public key, but your address. And mine is z4fos.wham. The next one is your collection name. So this is the name of your collection. We used that before in step 2. And so my collection name is Crypto Stache. It's weird because I have to have a 5 in there. Someone stole my name on Wax, so I don't have Crypto Stash, unfortunately. And I didn't think it through that it really should have been an S there. Maybe use an E or the 3 for E at the end. But it is what it is. So Crypto Stash with the 5. And then the next part is very important. This is the asset to mint. This is where we're going to put in our template ID, right? And exactly what we need to do. And this is a very specific string of text that you need to put in exactly as it's seen here. So I'm here you can see it in the box. And once again, I'll put this down in the description for you. But template ID. And what you need to change out is put your template ID in this section right here. So I've already filled mine in, right? 78941 is the template ID that we're using. We identified it here. And we put it into this this piece of code here. And you just got to make sure that everything looks good. All the brackets, everything are there. And like I said, you get this easy copy paste. Now the next thing is the listing price, right? So the listing price determines how much you're going to be listing this for, right? You could do it for nothing, right? If you're just doing a free drop, or you can list it in either a set USD amount, or you can list it in Wax. So if you were going to be doing a free drop, you would be putting in 0 and then null, just like that, and that's what you put in for a free drop. If you're going to be doing a drop in USD, you'd put it in, like, we'll say we're doing it for 1 USD. It needs to have both decimal places at the end, and then USD as the symbol. For Wax, we're going to be doing it, you'd be doing the same thing. So how many Wax do you want to be? With Wax, you need to put in actually 8 decimal points, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then Wax as the actual symbol for the listing price. Now, settlement symbols where it might get a little tricky for you guys, but there's really only 2 settlement symbols that you're going to be using here, and it's either settling in Wax, because you can't settle in USD. You can have it denominated in USD, but you can't actually get USD for your sales, or you're doing it for nothing. It's a free drop, right? If you're doing it for nothing, it looks like this, a little bit similar to the box above when we did it. It's 0, null. If we're going to be doing it in Wax, it is 8, Wax. and that is the settlement symbol. 8 is the denominator right there, right? So 8 stands for how many decimal places we had to put, 8, right? So that is the settlement symbol and listing price. And then we're going to go to price recipient. That doesn't really, it's not a really good descriptive name, but this is where you put your account name in as well. And you could put other people's name in here, but that would be for if someone's going to be getting all of the proceeds from the sales of this drop. So you definitely want to make sure it is your account and you put it in there correctly. Otherwise, someone else might be getting your sales. Now, the max claimable, this is something we talked about earlier. And I made a max supply for our token today. You can see here in the template. There's a max supply of 150, but I've already issued 10. So that means there can only really be 140 that our contract can mint. So we're going to put max claimable as 140 in there. And the next box is the account limit. How many of these stickers do you want each account to be able to buy? And these are unique accounts. I typically only put 1 in here, but you can definitely put as much as you want. You could put 0 if you want there to be no limit, so somebody could, you know, buy 100 of them at the time if they want. Typically I put 1 or 2 depending on what they are. So in this case, since it's a common sticker, I'm going ahead and put 5. I'm okay with people buying 5 at a time. If it was maybe more rare, I might put 1. Account limit cooldown. Now this is how long you want an account to be able to purchase. So if I put the account limit at 5, so you could buy 5, right? Well, that would mean that every time they purchase, this cooldown limit will go into effect and they'll have to wait a certain amount of time. Now I usually put 0 in this box here because I don't want there to be any cooldown time. But if you wanted to put an actual time for it to cool down, you'd have to go and get an epic timestamp, right? EPOCH, not EPIC, right? Epic timestamp, and put that in this location. For this example, we're not going to be doing a cooldown limit, but we are going to be using the epic time converter to add our start time. Right, the start time is going to be, if you want to start immediately as soon as you submit this transaction, then you'd put 0 here. But if you want to start at a specific time, which most people probably do, you'd have to go in and put in the epic converted time in this location. And the website I recommend to do that and that I use is called Epic Converter, right? So pretty easy. All you gotta do is come down here, and you can see, I know it looks a little bit daunting, but this is where you start. So the first thing I want to do is, okay, what date do I want this to drop? So we're gonna say today, and then we're gonna say at 2 p.m. And if you remove the GMT timestamp, it will then give you the time listed down here below when I convert this to my actual local time instead of GMT. So if you're kind of confused by GM timing, just delete that. Put in the time you want it to be at. I actually, it's funny, I didn't do at 20. We actually want it to be. We're going to be 14:00. So 14:00, which is 2 p.m., right? And we're going to hit this button here, and now it's going to give me the time in Pacific time, which is where I'm at. So you can see right here, epic timestamp. This is what we need to copy, but I want to show you what that actually means. So, and actually, no, we did a little bit different. So here, so you can see right here, it's gonna drop at 9 p.m. So I did 1400. Actually, it should be, let's do 2 p.m. is what we want to do here. 9 a.m. It's not converting here to the right exact time because it's picking up GMT still. Oh no, that's right. So 2 a.m. is what we want. So yeah, so I'm sorry. This is what shows you the GMT time, date and GMT. Your time zone is the one here below. So we did have it right before. It should be 1400. So these are things that you gotta make sure that you're doing right? And so I always double check all my things, and you can see, yes, here it is, 2 p.m. my time. It was a little confusing with the one here above, but so we know this is the correct time. So I had it right the first time. Always double check and verify though, because that is a pretty important thing that is showing you the right time here. So now we've copied over our epic timestamp, and we can go ahead and put it in the start time and put it there. Now, if you want there to be a specific end time for this drop, which you could definitely do, at that point there's not going to be any more drops anymore, right? You won't be able to use the drop contract, and I think that actually can be quite a good thing, right? So we're going to come over here, and we're going to say that we want this to last until 2 p.m. on the 4th of April. and we're going to convert that. So April 4th at 2 p.m. Sunday, this drop will end. So that doesn't mean that you can't continue to sell these, but you won't be able to buy them through this interface. So we're going to go ahead and just grab that timestamp and stick it in here. If you didn't want to have it in time, which a lot of people don't, you can just put 0 in this box. Now, the very last thing that we need to do here before we submit this transaction and complete step 3 is we need to put in the display data. This just means what you want to be called, like what do you want the name to be on the drop tab. And so in particular, this one is called Instructor Stash. So we're just going to call it exactly what the NFT name is. And that's that. So now we're going to submit our transaction. And this is going to pop up a approval for your wallet. Go ahead and submit your transaction. And as soon as you do it, you'll see, here we go, success. But that's not all we have left to do, right? So now we have this transaction ID and we need to click on this, right? And open it up and then go here to the transaction and get our drop number. This is how we make the URL to get to the actual drop page. So what you do is once you come to that transaction, you go down to traces 2 and then scroll all the way down to get down to here where it says drop ID. So here's our drop ID. We have that now, and so now we can take this and we can put it into a URL here for our drops. And like I said, once again, I'll put all these URLs and text into the description so you guys have them all there. But the drop, it goes like this. So it's wax.atomichub.io/drops, and then you slash again and you put your ID in, right? So that's what we're going to do, and you can see here is our drop, right? And it's ready to go. It shows exactly what we got here. It shows how many I can claim. There's only 140 available. It shows what time it's going to start. It's going to start here in just 18 minutes, and then what time it ends after, right? So people can come and buy this sticker for $1 here on Wax. And once the time is done, and then it'll be done, and you won't be able to buy them here, but you can still go and sell them through your own inventory and your interface after the drop is done, if maybe you don't sell out in your initial phase here. So those are the steps that it takes to get from going from having your collection and having an NFT and template kind of ready to go, not minted all the way, and taking it through all the steps to be able to make a drop here on Wax and then launch it successfully so everyone can participate and you can hype it up, and we can definitely support you. And if you're doing NFTs and you're not already in my Telegram group, we'd love to congratulate and support everyone who is entering into the NFT community. And so that's a great place to go post your drop for all of us to come see and support. So I hope that tutorial helped you guys out. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll definitely help try and get there as quickly as I can. As I said, in the Telegram group, I can get back to you much sooner. So definitely make sure you jump in there. That's all we have for today, folks. Until next time, stash that crypto, friends.